going down. I didn't really think it was going to go up. It didn't make sense to go up. I thought it was going to go down. It's actually corrected more than I thought it would. So there's a little bit of weakness in this token at the moment. Okay. And I think that's very much to do with Bitcoin. We've lost our area of interest, the point of control. There was a reaction. So I had this trade idea. I didn't take it. You see it came into the point of control and there was a little bit of reaction. What you really needed when the price came here is to push right up. And that would have given space for the next correction in Bitcoin to come back into the point of control. That would have been really strong. Yeah. To just keep on testing the point of control as Bitcoin was correcting. That would be a real powerful indication of strength. We're not seeing that. We're actually seeing a little bit of weakness, okay, in the price action. That was that long. We had this, I had this idea as well, the SFP of this low. That was last night, yesterday evening. I actually bought spot because it's a good place to buy, you know. You're at the lows, it's a good place to buy spot, not to trade. The trade already happened because you, as soon as you put in this swing failure, you have your invalidation, you take the trade and you've already hit your profit, because as the price came back in to the value area low, you would have taken profit because the price would have moved enough as you took the entry on that swing failure to take profit. It would have moved at least, you would have got a 1-to-1 on that trade just by this movement here. But obviously with Bitcoin, what's happened is you've had a sell-off. Okay, someone has just sold into that, and so unfortunately we've lost that low, unfortunately. So let me just delete that now, and let me just have a look at what else could be happening. So the first thing I'm going to do on Slerf is a new volume pool. Okay, you can see the value area low is slightly higher. You can see the value area high is slightly higher. Not really, doesn't really mean anything. You've got this high volume node here, but you've got lots of high volume nodes. Actually, there's a lot of volume has been put into this higher range. You see that? There's a lot of volume been put into this upper range here. And now we've lost the range. We're into these lows here. There is a little bit of a volume area here. You can see it there. So arguably you could say we're in a little bit of a high volume node right now. Okay. We still are holding a higher low. And I think this is going to have everything to do with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really important to Slerf. I'm still bullish on this token, actually. Oh, my viewers have gone down to 0. Is anyone here? It was on 7 or 8 and it went down to 0. It's weird how YouTube does that. The reason why I'm bullish on this is because eventually Bitcoin is going to go up, right? And this is going to follow Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin does go up, eventually, this is going to get into all-time highs, and then you're in price discovery, you know, and then you're really pushing. Okay, so this is effectively a leveraged version of Bitcoin at the highs, because this token launched during Bitcoin's correction. And so what you're experiencing on this token is something similar to Bitcoin's correction. That's your all-time high. You break the all-time high, you flip it into support, and you're into price discovery. If Bitcoin then powers on to $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, then guess what? This is going to do exactly the same thing, but on a much more compressed scale. So that means you're going to have much more you're going to have a much more exaggerated gains in terms of percentage. That's exactly what's going to happen with this token when Bitcoin finds strength. Yeah. And so this is a really good token to be in that respect. Yeah. The best tokens to be in, the best new tokens are when Bitcoin is correcting, because they're kind of off the radar. Right now, this is slightly off the radar. Even though it's on the radar, it's off the radar. I think a lot of people here have kind of like lost hope in this token. And I think in that sense, the price is still holding a range, you know, like it's still kind of holding a range, even though we've lost the value area. The price range is from the all-time low to the all-time high. I don't want to see the all-time low taken out. I'm not really fond of that idea. I think we're close. We're only 21% away from the all-time low. Okay. If we make another all-time low, honestly, I'm going to lose interest in this token. I hate to say it. I think it'll be very bearish to do that. Doesn't mean that if you make an all-time low, you can't make an all-time high. But I wouldn't expect it to pump then. I would expect then that would be the trade. You make an all-time low, you swing failure these lows, and then the trade is from the all-time low to the all-time high, which is 255%. That would be your trade. And then the next time you make an all-time high, that's when you're going to be taking profit. And that would really be the end of, that would be what you'd be looking for. If you were then to make an all-time high, you would take your profit, and then you'd be looking for a higher low to go back up to make a higher high. You see, this market structure is really important. At the moment, what's happened is we've put in an all-time low, we've put in an all-time high. So the all-time low came first, then you put in an all-time high. Okay, that's the all-time low. This is the all-time high. Right now we're ranging. And for bullish market structure, after you put in an all-time high, you need to put a higher low. Yeah. So what we need to do now, as if you're bullish on this token, I'm bullish, is somewhere here, anywhere here within this range, create a higher low and then go up to make a higher high. Yeah. So you're going from a lower low to a higher high to a higher low to a higher high. And that's bullish market structure. And then you're going to have a real nice pump. Yeah. But the minute you make a lower low here, that's not good, because then you're going from a lower low to a higher high to a lower low. Yeah. That's not good at all. It resets the whole structure. So from a lower low, which would be the all-time low, you then have to do a higher high, a higher low. You know, you have to reset the whole thing. Okay. So in terms of bullishness, I think you want to make a higher low. If you make a lower low, then I think probably this token will be in a much more prolonged range. Probably, I think it'll be a lot more prolonged than people expect if we make an all-time low. That's what I'm thinking. All right. You don't want to make an all-time low. Yeah, and you can't make that happen. Like, I mean, not one single person in the whole of the markets is like me buying here and trying to defend the low, and this token isn't going to make any difference. It's the market that does this. It's the sentiment and the psychology of the bullishness of the market. And it's a large portion of this has got to do with Bitcoin. Okay. And so right now, when I'm looking at it, I bought some spot slightly higher up just here. Doesn't really matter in the scale of things. It's only down 6%. It's not a big deal. And I'll hodl that and see what happens. There is a trade to be had, and that's if you make a swing failure of the all-time low, and then you're not going to be bullish on this. You're just trading. This is a trade. This is not a hold. This is a trade. Just a simple, easy trade is a swing failure of the all-time low. Yeah, you can trade it right back up to the high volume node that's put in there. That's a very easy trade to have. But if you put an all-time low now here, then there's a lot more work to be done on this token, because then you have to put another all-time high, and you know, you have to change market structure. It becomes really bearish then. And there's no reason why, if you put another all-time low here, that you don't just continue. You know, there's no reason why it doesn't continue. You have to bear that in mind. That's why it becomes bearish when you put an all-time low, because even though you're thinking, so we put an all-time low, now we're going to go to all-time high. No, that's not how it works. If you put an all-time low now in now, then you're looking for a lower high now. And then you're looking for a lower high, not for a lower low. You look a higher low, you look for a lower high. And actually, just looking at the way the chart is, there's two ways that people can play this, I think, if they want. I think you could wait. If people are unsteady about this token, they don't want to just keep on buying the low into weakness, which is what we're experiencing now. They can wait until we reclaim the value area low. Okay, and so there are a couple of things, or there's about 3 things that could happen as we range here. And I'm going to go through the different options so people are aware of what could happen. So we have this this trend line here. Okay. You could just wait for that trend line to break. Yeah, that's a very easy entry. And the price could easily keep finding resistance on that trend line, especially if we make an all-time low. Okay, just have to bear that in mind. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, if you do make an all-time low, then it's very likely that as the price comes back up, people will sell into that trend line in confluence with some kind of horizontal level. Yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't. The people who are trading will just take their profits, and then people who are trapped will probably just exit. Okay, after you make an all-time low, people will look to exit on the pullback. Okay, so it's going to get bearish really quickly. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I think it's largely to do with Bitcoin. Okay, so we're not there yet. We do need to break that trend line. So as we range, what we also need to do is we also need to move this point of control lower, and possibly the whole of the volume area needs to come lower. So when you pull a volume area right now on this token, yeah, you can see that most of the volume is above the price right now. So effectively what that means is that everyone is underwater. Literally everyone in this range is underwater. Anyone who came down here, unless they've taken profit, which they probably have, they're also underwater. They're also break even and maybe on the verge of being underwater. Okay, it's not a comfortable position for people to be underwater, especially when they're seeing weakness. Okay, I'm not necessarily seeing weakness. I'm just seeing something that's following Bitcoin at the moment. I think weakness would be making an all-time low. So I'm not imagining for that to happen. I want to see what happens. And as a result, I did pick up some spot, and I think it's a good place to buy if you're bullish on this token, because we are at a high volume node. We have lost the value area, so you're getting at a really good price. And as more volume is now put in, this is a question: do you put in enough volume here so that this volume node becomes like this, and then the whole value area shifts? And that's effectively one thing that can happen. You can have the whole of this value area could shift. And if you suddenly see a shift in the value area, where the value area low now suddenly moves down like that, and where all of a sudden you're in the new value area, that's quite bullish. That would be a very bullish sign of what's happening. It's like a signal. You see that? That's a signal. If we suddenly see volume put in now and the value area move down, that's a really strong signal of bullishness while the price is still at the lows. And even in the best case scenario in this situation would be to put in volume, enough volume at this level here where we are now, that this level actually becomes the point of control. You see the point of control is here. For the point of control to shift, to move down. So that's something to look for, and I'll be looking for that to see if that happens. It may or may not happen. The other sign of strength that we're looking for right now is to get back into the value area. You see the value area is there, the value area low. What we need is the price to somehow get back into there and flip it as support. Then that's when you're going to be seeing strength. That's a sign of strength. To get back into the value area is a sign of strength. Okay. And until you see that, you're not seeing strength, you're seeing weakness. So I think for a lot of people, if they don't want to willy-nilly buy into weakness and hope for the best, then wait for strength. Don't buy into weakness, buy into strength. Now, you may not get a good price. You know, you may have to buy in 20% more expensive, but at least then you're buying strength, you're not buying weakness. Okay, the problem with buying weakness is that even though you're getting it 20% cheaper than strength, the price could also drop another 20%. That's the problem with buying weakness. If you buy strength, then you don't have that problem, because now you're not expecting the price to drop. Once you see strength, you're not expecting the price to drop 20%. You're expecting the price to go up 20%. That's the difference. So you're not looking to buy weakness. You're looking to wait for signs of strength. Okay. I think if you're bullish, it's a good place to pick it up, because effectively, as far as I'm concerned, this is the last line of support. This high volume node, it's a volume level. Okay. I don't want to see an all-time low. Yeah. I wouldn't be fond of that. And do I have a fib retracement? Let me have a look. Oh, we've already lost those levels. I can delete that. So the other thing I can do is, this is the SFP long of the lows. Let me just group that up. SFP long of all-time low. What's this brush? We can get rid of these now. I like that trend line. I'm going to get rid of this fixed range. Let me hide these volume levels. So we just have the data and that trend line. We have the weekly open there. Let me have a look at the weekly candle. So we're actually forming a weekly level above us as well. That's going to be resistance. Obviously the week has only just started, but assuming that this current week is a red week, it looks like it will be. No one knows. It's possible that it's not, but hypothetically, that's going to be a weekly level. It's going to be a strong resistance level as we go up. So I'm just going to call that developing weekly. Okay, and we have our weekly open as well. And that developing weekly also corresponds with a daily level. You see that? And so you have quite strong resistance levels to the upside. This pivot here is going to be quite important as well. This, I'm going to call it SR flip. Okay. Let's see how that looks in the local time frame. All right. And then the other thing that's going to be quite important to see is a fib extension of this rise. So I'm going to do that as well. All right, so we've come into the 1.272. There's been a reaction. You see that reaction? The 1.618 will take us to an all-time low. So I think we need this to hold, really. And then we also need the price to get back above this pivot. And we also need the price to break this trend line. We need that to happen. Okay, there's a lot of things we need this to happen before this becomes bullish. I'm not saying it's going to happen like this. Anything can happen, and I think a large portion of what happens has got to do with Bitcoin. Once we get above, this will be the first indication of strength, getting back above this pivot here, this SR flip I've called it. Okay, that'll be the first indication of strength. The second indication of strength would be to break this trend line somehow. Let's say that happens. Break it. And then the real indication that I'm looking for, the confirmation of strength, will be to get back into the volume area, which is this val that I've got here. See that val? This is strength. This is what you're looking for strength. Get back above that pivot, break that trend line, get back into the value area low. Once you see that, just long, just go for it, because now then you're buying into strength. You're not buying into weakness. Weakness is you're not going to short this even though it's weakness. Why? Because the area to short was up there when I was saying I was looking for the price to go down. I'm not looking for the price to go down now. I'm looking for the price to go up. So I'm not looking to short now, I'm looking to long. Yeah. When you're at the highs and you're looking for the price to go down, that's where you're looking to short. There was lots of opportunities to short up there. Okay. Which I didn't do, but I'm not trading I'm trading Bitcoin really. I'm not really trading this stuff. This stuff I'm looking to long-term hodl. But that's where it was. Now that we're in the lows of this overall range, you're looking to long, you're not looking to short. It's not a good place to short. Even if it does go down to the all-time low, the risk to reward doesn't justify shorting here. Yeah. Where's your invalidation? Let's say it's above that yellow line. And what's your target? Let's say your target's the all-time low. At best, you're looking at a one-to-one trade at best. And we don't even know if it's going to hit the all-time low. It could just come back to this local pivot here. SFP this local pivot and head back up. Okay? So that's a really bad short trade right now. If anyone's thinking about shorting, it's a really bad idea to short. It's better to look for longs, and this is a very viable long trade right now. It's a simple swing failure of this local low that's been put in here. Get a little swing failure there. It is possible that this price goes all the way back up to back test that SR flip line that I have. We haven't actually tested it. We haven't actually back tested it. Okay. See, we've broken it. We held here. We lost it. We haven't really back tested it. So I wouldn't mind seeing a little back test. Right. So I don't know if that helped anyone, but as long as we don't make an all-time low, we're good. This is a good place to buy. If you don't want to buy into weakness, just wait for a little bit of strength. I think that's everything of that has got to do with Bitcoin. But on this chart, if you want to see strength, the first clue will be to reclaim this this pivot here at 50 cents, maybe 51. You can reclaim that, back test it as support. That would be a good place to buy. And you'll have a really easy invalidation as well. Because then you're not expecting to claim it as support to then lose it again. You know, you're not expecting that kind of behavior. I would rather see that trend line broken and for us to get back into the volume area. It's not much higher for that to happen. You're thinking about coming in at 5 cents. But if we see that slightly higher, I'd be a lot more confident breaking that trend line, start longing or buying at 5.5 or 5.6 would be a lot safer. Yeah, to see that would be a lot safer. And you could just ignore all of this. Like, who cares about how low it went? All you really care about is buying it when the price is moving up. You don't want to buy it when the price is moving down. You want to start buying after the price is turned, as the price is starting to move up, because at the very least you'll catch it roughly at the lows, and then you'll be aiming for the value area high, and then the risk to reward on that kind of entry is much better. If you're long-term hodling, as long as we don't put an all-time low, this is a good place to dollar cost average in. Yeah, if we do make an all-time low, then most people who are dollar cost averaging in will also be dollar cost averaging out as you get the price comes back up. Yeah, you just have to bear that in mind. Yeah, I don't think we want to make an all-time low. If I haven't said that enough, then I'll say it again. Okay, that's my Slerf update. I hope that helps, and I hope people aren't too stressed, because I think these tokens will do really well as Bitcoin breaks the all-time high, as long as we can hold this low here. I don't think we want to see the low taken. That's Slerf. What else?